We are in the thick of the Christmas shopping season, and the last thing anybody wants is to miss out on all the enjoyment of the holiday season because we're too stressed about overspending. So, today we're actually going to be talking about how we can keep our budget routine on track even during the Christmas shopping season.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
Now, there are some rare people that do their Christmas shopping all throughout the year and they hide these gifts away and save them throughout the year so you don't have all the spending to do at once and you get discounts on things as you find deals throughout the year. Now, I am not one of those people because if I did that, I would just end up constantly giving all the gifts away because I have no patience and I wouldn't be able to hold on to them for that many months. But most of us are doing our Christmas shopping season now. We're doing all of the shopping in these last months or weeks before Christmas time. But the problem with this is that if we're not prepared and we don't have a plan for our Christmas shopping, it can be a really stressful time because if we feel tight on money, it is not as enjoyable as if we were fully prepared. So, I want you to be able to go into the Christmas season and actually enjoy the time together, really focus on the reason for the season and not just the stress of the money. So, when we are approaching, Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming really soon, all of these discount days, instead of getting caught in the flurry of what we can buy because it's discounted. We really want to look at what we actually need and what our intentions are when it comes to Christmas shopping. And in order to do that, we need to actually plan ahead and get things down onto paper so we know what our plan is. Because in order to actually stay on track and spend within our limits, we need to know what those limits are. We need to know what track we need to stay within. So that's really important. So we're going to talk about how to keep the budget routine on track during the Christmas shopping season. And I think you're going to want to grab a couple of pieces of paper, at least one for sure, for this. And we're going to go right down the list of the steps to take to get this plan all laid out. So, number one, you want to write down the amount of your Christmas budget. Hopefully, you have some set aside. And if you don't, we're going to talk about this later. But if not, we need to pick a number of what you're willing to spend on Christmas this year. Now, this means everything. This is gifts, this is any decor, this is baking supplies, whatever you are spending money on Christmas, activities or events out, anything that applies to Christmas shopping or Christmas spending, I should say, this is going to be included in this. So write down the amount that you are willing to spend as your Christmas budget. And then step number two is you want to take your piece of paper and I want you to just put two lines down the paper and create three columns. So if you put two lines down the center, it creates three columns across the page. I hope that makes sense just by visually seeing that. Once you have those three columns, I want you to go to step three. And in column one, I want you to list all of the people you plan to buy gifts for. Now, I want you to really think this through and try to get as many people down as you can that you're planning to buy gifts for. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to buy gifts for everybody. That's not what this is, saying that you're supposed to buy gifts for all these people. This is just you and your personal preference on who you would like to buy gifts for. Now, some ideas might be spouse, parents, siblings, children, godchildren, godparents, friends, neighbors, maybe it's coworkers, whoever it is, just write down the list of all the people that you would like to buy gifts for. This might be a short list, it might be a really long list. It's totally up to you. This would also be if you're doing like a Secret Santa or if you've ever heard of the White Elephant or Dirty Bingo, like those are all common holiday games. Anything like that, you want to include those in there too because you're going to have to get gifts for those games. And then once you have all of that done, you're going to move to step 4, but you're staying in column 1 and you're going to continue the list, but now you're thinking of all of the non gift items or the non people that you need to buy. So if you are doing non gift items, this is all the additional things like your Christmas tree, new Christmas lights, any new holiday decor, any baking supplies, any Christmas activities or event fees throughout this season. Anything like that, this is when you're going to plug in all of those additional expenses and just plug in all of the things that you're going to be buying. And that all stays in column 1. So you're going to start with all the people and the gifts, and then you're going to continue with all the non people items and all of those items that you need to buy. Once you're done with this, you're going to move to step 5, and we're moving over to column 2 here. And in this process, you're going to look at all of the items you have listed in column 1, and in column 2, you're going to put a price next to each item. So, like I said, this could be a short list, this could be a really long list, but really you're just going down the list and you're assigning an amount that you're willing to spend on that particular item. So, if it is a gift for somebody, write down how much you are willing to spend on that gift. And if it is for a Christmas tree, how much are you willing to spend on a Christmas tree? If it is for Christmas lights, how much are you spending on Christmas lights? Like literally go down the list and write in the amount that you are wanting to spend on that item. And once you're done adding a cost to every item you have in column 1, you are now going to move to step 6, where you are adding up the total to see how it compares to your Christmas budget that you decided in step 1. So when you add all of these totals up, you're going to see if it is over budget, because if it's over budget, then you need to review your list and start cutting where you can. So, do you really need that many Christmas lights? Do you have to spend that much on a gift? And you just want to go through and basically edit all of the items depending on how much you're over budget, but you want to go through and you want to edit the amounts that you're willing to spend in each area so that it fits within your Christmas budget. Now, if you're under budget and you have money left over, then that's fine. Like, I would just leave it as is. It doesn't mean you have to spend more money in certain areas. It just means that you might come in under budget for your Christmas budget, which is great. And then once you have edited the numbers or you've settled on the numbers, then you're going to move to step 7. And this is where you're going to use column 3 as basically an ideas column. So you can take this piece of paper and have it with you through the whole Christmas shopping season because this is going to be kind of your ideas list. So when you have this ready, you can start writing down any ideas that pop into your head. So if you're thinking about gifts for somebody, then you can use column 3 as just kind of your notes. And so if you're thinking about different gift ideas for this particular person, have column 3 to go in and just plug in what you're thinking about getting them so you can keep an eye on different sales or discounts or just different deals that you come across during the holiday season, or it can just give you those ideas. So if your budget might be a little bit tight, just remember like it's not the amount that you're spending on everybody, it is the personal touch of what you're actually getting for somebody because it's the thought that goes through it. So even if it's something that is not very expensive, if it's really thoughtful and it's something that you think that they will truly love, then it's going to mean more to them than if you were to just go out and spend an exorbitant amount of money. It is way more special or way specialer, way more special. It means a lot more. Let's say that way. It means a lot more when you really put some thought into what they would like rather than the amount that you spend. So if you're going through this process and it feels like you're maybe not having as big of a budget for somebody to buy them gifts, just really sit down and think through like what is actually a thoughtful gift that you could get them that is within your budget so that you feel really good about giving them the gifts despite what the price tag was. Like, don't even think about the price tags, but think about what is the most thoughtful gift that you could get them that is within that budget. So this is where you can just use this notes column and put those ideas. If you have baking supplies listed on your list in column one and you've got an amount, maybe in column three, you're putting the ideas. Maybe it's what kind of cookies you want to bake or different things that you have in mind for this baking supplies list to help you so that when you're actually going to do the shopping and plan these activities of when you're doing your Christmas baking, you've already got all of those ideas plugged in. And it just takes a lot of the stress out of the season as well because there is a lot going on at this time of year. But when you can be prepared and you feel like you have everything handled and you're not stressing about money and you're really just enjoying the time, it makes it so much better because you can actually just focus on enjoying the time with family and friends. And that is what makes this time of year so special, not the amount that we're spending everywhere. This is just helping us keep our budget in check so that it isn't as stressful when we are starting the new year. And speaking of that, I just want to mention, like I had mentioned about having some money set aside for your Christmas budget. And this is where it's really important, especially at this time of year, to really think through what you want to do for next year. And it might feel like this is way too early and you don't have to think about this right now. But especially if your Christmas shopping each year is really stressful, we want to make sure that we are prepared for every year to come. Because the worst thing is that you're going to go into the Christmas season putting all of your shopping items on a credit card, and then you spend the next year paying off last year's Christmas when the kids no longer have the toys. You don't even remember what you got people, and you're still paying for all of that stressful shopping because you didn't plan ahead the year before. So, this is a really great time to sit down and look at your list, even if it's this year's list, and think about what you would do for next year. If it is similar, then you know how much you need to save for next year based on what you're buying this year or what you're wanting to buy this year. And you can even do this on a separate piece of paper and just kind of think ahead what you think that you'll be doing next year to get a good estimate because it doesn't have to be perfect, but it'll give you a good estimate of what you're wanting to spend next year as well. And then you take that full amount and you divide it by the number of months that you have to plan. So let's say you are starting this in January and you want to have everything saved by November because you start your shopping in November. Well, then you're going to have 11 months. So you take the total amount and you divide it by 11, and that gives you the amount that you want to plan to save each month and plug it into a Christmas savings account. Maybe you want everything to be ready by October. Well, then you have 10 months because that's January through October is 10 months. So then you take your big budget for your Christmas budget and you divide it by 10, and that becomes your number of what to save and set aside each month. Because what happens here is then Christmas shopping does not affect your monthly budget when you go into the Christmas shopping season in November and December. It's not going to affect it because you've already spent 10 months or 10 or 11 months or however many months you have. You've already spent those months just plugging that into your budget. It is just something that automatically comes out just like normal. It is not stressful. And you just keep cycling this through every year. And it never actually becomes one huge lump sum during the Christmas shopping season because you've planned for it all year. That money's set aside. You go and do your shopping with this list because everything's planned out. You know where this money is being spent and what you have it saved for. And you just keep repeating this year after year. And it worked so well. Years ago, it used to be so stressful for us to go through Christmas time because we wanted to get gifts for a lot of people. Like, I'm definitely a gift giver. I've gotten a lot better over the years, but I love giving gifts. We just have so many people in our family that If I could give a gift to everybody, I would, but it would cost a boatload of money. So this is something that is special to me, but we have to think it through and really understand where we want to be spending money. And over the last, yeah, gosh, it's been I don't even know how many years. I would guess it's been like the last 7 or 8 years maybe. We have been doing this process where we create this list the year before and then actually lay everything out and then save for the year ahead, and it makes such a big difference. Yes, we still have maybe other expenses that pop up that we end up doing out of our monthly budget, but the bulk of it definitely comes from this piece of planning ahead, and it is so much smoother, it is way less stressful, and you really just are able to enjoy the season so much more. So I would highly encourage you to sit down and do this, especially for this season, but also make sure that you're preparing for next Christmas as well. And next Christmas, if that's your first year of actually saving all year for Christmas, it is going to be a total game changer for you, and you're going to absolutely love it because you will not be stressed at Christmas time for the spending piece of it. It is amazing. So, a quick recap of the steps for you to keep your budget routine on track during Christmas shopping season is number one, you want to write down the amount of your Christmas budget and what you are willing to spend. Step two is to take your piece of paper and put down 2 lines so that you are creating 3 columns down your page. Step three is under column one, you are going to list all of the people that you plan to buy gifts for. And then step four is you're going to continue in column one and you're going to get all of the non gift items that you're planning to buy. So it's like all the extra supplies, Christmas tree, lights, holiday decor, baking supplies, any activity, event fees that you need to pay for. All of those types of things are going to continue in column one in this step. Then you're going to step number 5, and this is where you are going to enter an amount next to each of the items in column 1 of what you are willing to spend on those gifts or items. So just go straight down your list, and every item you have in column 1 will now have an amount next to it in column 2 of what you're willing to spend. Once you finish that, you're going to move to step 6. And this is where you're going to add up the total of all of the different costs and amounts that you just added in column 2 and add up all of those amounts to see what your grand total is and see how it compares to your initial Christmas budget amount that you said you were willing to spend in step 1. If you are under budget, then it's great and you can leave it as is. If you are over budget and you're spending too much, figure out how much you're over budget and start editing the different amounts in column 1 and making cuts where you can make adjustments. And then make sure that you re-add it until it matches within your amount that you said you were willing to spend so that it fits within your Christmas budget. And then once you have all of those numbers settled, you move to step 7, which is to use column 3 to write down any notes and ideas that you have for any of the items in column 1. And this is just kind of your brain dump section where you can just keep track of things that are popping up or gift ideas and things like that that you want to keep track of as you move through your Christmas budget. So I hope that this was really helpful for you. I hope you actually take time to sit down and do this before you go crazy with too much shopping because you definitely don't want to go buy all these different things and then realize you have 8 gifts for one person and no gifts for another person when you were supposed to have only 2 gifts for each of those people. So that is something that definitely happens when we start going crazy and we don't actually put our plan into place before we go and do our shopping. We just get really spend happy, and that's what we want to avoid. So we actually want to go into this having a plan and not getting stressed about the money that we're spending because we want to make sure that we are actually going into this process with purpose. So I hope that you have a wonderful time shopping because shopping is fun and it can be fun, but we also want to keep our budget on track. And this is a great way to do it when you are shopping for Christmas. So have fun, and I will catch you back here on the next episode.